The Star Fox team returned for their first original game in a decade, and thankfully not too much has changed. Star Fox Zero retains everything you loved about the original Star Fox /Starwing and its sequel Star Fox 64 /Lilac Wars. There are R-Wings, irritating toads, galactic dogfights, and of course, barrel rolls. What more could you honestly want? After being gone for so long, I imagine there are many gamers out there who have never even touched the Star Fox title, alongside fans of the previous games. No matter who you are or your association with the series as a whole, you are in for a treat with Star Fox Zero. So now that the game is out and it's been so long since the last proper Star Fox release, what on earth are you going to do? Don't worry guys, I have you all covered, because today I'm going to give you 5 ways to get the best out of Star Fox Zero.
So the first item on this list is related to the very controversial controls. If you aren't already aware, motion controls are a massive part of Star Fox Zero's experience, and while you use the left stick to move around and your right analog stick for adjusting your speed and performing other manoeuvres, you'll also be tilting the Wii U gamepad for controlling your aiming reticle. If you've ever played Splatoon, you know exactly what to expect, and you'll also know that there's quite a bit of a learning curve involved in playing a familiar style of game with added motion controls. It's easy to get angry and frustrated, but I cannot stress enough that these unorthodox controls give you the sort of mastery with your R-Wing that you would never have achieved with just a standard controller. Finally, you can use precision aiming to pick off faraway targets and even fire at enemies while you're flying off in an opposite direction. You have full control over the speed and location of your reticle, and making the most of the motion controls is key to getting the best experience from Star Fox Zero. Take some time in the training level or early stages of the main game to get used to keeping your aim steady and get your physical bearings when tilting. And don't forget that you can center your aim by pressing the Y button, which also has a fair few amount of uses. Also remember the X button can be used to somersault, which for some will be far better than moving the 2 analog sticks in opposite directions. Now Platinum Games have given you a great deal of control over your R-Wing, so make the most of it. Once you get the hang of Star Fox Zero, you're probably going to want to start unlocking those medals to prove just how good you really are, and most of those medals are found in the levels themselves by performing certain actions, but one can be earned in every level by beating the high score. Now you won't get high scores by just firing at every enemy you encounter. Nope, much like Star Fox 64, you'll have to get to grips with a very important technique. Now you may have noticed that when you hold the fire button you lock on to enemy fighters. Letting go will unleash a far more powerful charge shot, and you may have noticed that this charged attack can cause splash damage to other enemies. In fact, it will pretty much destroy a whole formation of enemies in one shot. There is more to this technique than just being efficient. Killing more than 3 enemies with a charge shot will add more points to your score than shooting them all individually, and this is the key to getting those score medals. But it also takes a while to charge your laser, and in that time you could just watch enemies fly off, so there's a knack of knowing when to throw rapid laser fire at single or smaller groups of enemies, and to seeing how larger formations of foes can be locked on for those bonus points. Now this isn't an easy balance, but the rewards are plentiful. But of course there is a way you can make those scores a little easier to obtain. Do you happen to have any amiibo knocking around? Well, if you're a Star Fox fan, then you probably at least have Fox McCloud, if not Falco Lombardi in plastic form. Which is good, because you'll get some nifty little extras for scanning in your plastic pals. Scan Falco and you'll unlock the Black R-Wing, a powerful craft that can lock on to more than one enemy, but will take 3 times the amount of damage. For those of you looking for something a little more cosmetic, scan your Fox McCloud amiibo and you'll be granted access to the classic R-Wing from the original SNES game. This low polygon ship brings a bit of retro chic to the game, and it also gives you some classic 16-bit tracks to listen to while you play. Very cool, and a nice nod for fans of the series. Star Fox has always been about going from Corneria to Venom and making your own way there via branching paths. Star Fox Zero is of course no different, but unlike many games it isn't a case of going left or right. Far from it, you'll need to play levels a little bit differently in order to ride off the beaten track. Defeating certain enemies, hitting switches to open doors, finding portals, or even finding alternative ways to wreck bosses can change your experience, and that is a big part of Star Fox's appeal. Some paths will make your journey to Venom tougher, some a little easier, but in any case it's a good excuse to replay the game to discover all the levels you missed. Can you find and beat every level in the game? While the Wii U gamepad controls are the big story when it comes to Star Fox Zero, not many people will be talking about the 3 different camera modes you'll see as you go through the game. Now on the gamepad screen you'll see the in-cockpit view, and most of the time on the TV you'll get a standard behind the ship view of the action as per every Star Fox game. However, there is also a third view that appears during certain areas, usually in all range mode when your camera is locked onto an enemy or objective, and when you first see it you'll think it's pointless, useless and probably very obstructive. However, for all range dogfights this is an incredibly important view to have, especially when you come into contact with the returning Star Wolf team. This exterior view gives you a greater view of your surroundings than ever before, and learning to use it in conjunction with your gamepad cockpit view is essential. When you have fast enemy fighters like Star Wolf on your tail, it's very easy to lose them as they tend to flank you or approach from behind, and with this third view you can easily turn around to where their location is and get the jump on them first. It's also useful to know that you can swap the TV and gamepad screens using the minus button, which is good if you want to play it away from the television or you just want a better look at that cockpit view.
That was 5 ways to get the best out of Star Fox Zero. Now I hope that whether you're a newcomer or a veteran, that you found this video incredibly useful. I'll be back soon with another episode of 5, but until then I recommend that you subscribe to this very channel so you can catch up with the videos we release every weekday. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, do a barrel roll!
Should have backed the Goddess Geek Patreon.